1 minute and 8 seconds of previously awning and awning and awning and awning, and nothing has happened in this show, so what do you think I've forgotten? Storing your deadly projectile launcher this close to your fleshy erectile launcher.
Why did you join the resistance, Beto?
Well, you see, sometimes shows like to bring in someone new to a situation as an expositional surrogate for the audience. But that was kind of done in episode 1, so now I'm just kind of hanging around. Ooh, maybe I'll be part of an important mission this week in a completely unseen role.
All faith is built on risk.
Not so fast there, Skrelly. You're forgetting about that pesky faith that's built on suppressing the masses through the fear of a judgmental and omnipotent higher power. Don't mind me, I'm just going to hand these files to you in the most unnatural way possible so this camera and the attached audience can get a good look at them. Also, which genius put the classified stamp over the caution notice? There's so much room on this thing. Why stamp over one of the few bits of information you actually need?
Time to change.
No, I think the time to change would have been almost any time that wasn't as you're pulling up to the military base and are clearly visible to the surveillance cameras that are no doubt surrounding it. Time. In case you confused it with New York Cheesecake 1998. Scene of Nick Fury opening his umbrella really fast over and over is immediately followed by a scared flock of birds that take down an airplane. We get it, Disney. You're really good at de-aging and you want to show it off. But I didn't need this flashback to justify that Nick Samuel L. Jackson Fury is a sexual being.
This should put Dracov's men on their heels.
Wait, who's Dracoff? Okay, time for a quick googly google. All right, General Dracoff, Marvel antagonist, introduced in Black... They made a Black Widow movie, didn't they? Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Our unit doesn't exist, Fury. That means I don't work for you.
That's an intriguing possibility.
It's also a stupid loophole. If these guys want to date, then f***ing date. I promise your audience is even less concerned with Sheld rules on fraternization than trade disputes in the Star Wars prequels. In fact, I bet you'll be more concerned with how I just said Sheld.
That, my friends, looks a hell of a lot like World War III.
How can you watch that poison?
Even the broken clock's right twice a day.
I don't know, Fury. What if a wild animal got a hold of said clock? Let's say, oh, I don't know, a fox. And what if this fox f***ed it up so bad that the poor clock doesn't have hands or numbers anymore and instead just spouts fear-mongering hateful rhetoric with no basis in fact? Or, you know, doesn't even tell time at all.
Darling, you are Nick Fury.
Stop using his name as a fear-inducing power noun. Stop it!
I never harbored any illusions about the necessity of you going away, but staying away. That leaves a mark.
Okay, but how long exactly does he have to be away before going away gets promoted to staying away? Actually, forget I asked. I'm feeling a sudden urge to stay away myself, so blip. Drinking orange juice immediately after taking a drink of coffee. You monster, what's next? Are you going to tell me Nick Fury brushes his teeth right before drinking his coffee in the morning?
You came back in the blip.
So glad we got this CGI meet cute instead of Fury's return from the blip. Seeing Fury suddenly rematerialize in the middle of New York City traffic would have been the perfect time for Marvel's second F-bomb.
I'm a good liar.
Well, she did convince Darth Maul that Beckett was at fault for Voss failing in his mission. I guess that counts. So here's a sin for Disney failing to give us a sequel to Solo, in which Emilia Clarke might have been put to better use. Yes, that was a long walk, but I'm happy to take it.
See you tomorrow, early.
Oh, early, you say? Thanks for that, Gravik. For a minute, I was worried I'd have no clue when to be ready for this very important mission, but early clears that up entirely for me.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
Covert meeting in an art gallery cliché. Were all the park benches, mysterious bridges, and empty churches booked by dead reckoning?
I mean, look at the fat, smug smile on his face.
Are we looking at the same painting? Or is that genuinely what constitutes as a smile in England?
Choice between having my story told in ink and oil paint, or having it written in blood. I choose blood all day long.
Yeah, but have you ever tried painting in blood? It's a nightmare. You can never get the right consistency. You have very few shades to work with. And I've just realized that he's being metaphorical, and I may have drastically overshared.
Thank you, love.
Calling your server love or darling or sweetie or any other pet name. It's not cute or respectful, it's creepy and annoying. Almost as bad as leaving one of those Bible verse papers disguised to look like cash as a tip. Almost.
You should be grateful that I haven't sent that back to you in a body bag yet.
Cool moment, but what's the point of changing into Gravik? It doesn't make them better fighters or give any real distraction advantage since the real Gravik is at the table. Was it because you needed this shot for the trailer to get people to watch Secret Invasion? It was, wasn't it? Also, I'm assuming this brick container filled with priceless pieces of art has at least some kind of CCTV, so why are none of these numbskulls worried about being exposed? Sudden ambush of alsos! The fact that Talos is startled by the appearance of multiple Kingsley Benadirs instead of aroused. Amused. Yes, amused. Anybody have a glass of water at hand? I appear to be really thirsty. Ew. Stop it. Seriously, how do we live in a world where this makes it past the censors, but a classic Sam Jackson motherfucker is off the table? Also trying to convince me that a butter knife is sharp enough for Gravik to cut his flesh with. Not only is this blade too dull to stab through Gravik's hand, but when he pulled it backward, the blade would have moved with it. In other words, if you're gonna steal from John Wick, don't. Also, please ignore any seeming correlation between the above sin and the earlier sin about painting with blood. This is a work of fiction. Any similarities to persons living or dead or actual events is purely coincidental. Series is halfway over, and Emilia Clarke has spent at least 66% of her screen time waiting in cars. Aha! Being the man of the world that I am, I have one English friend, and they informed me that Talos has carelessly exposed himself here by eating the worst part of the English breakfast first. The tomato is mostly decorative, but if you have to eat it, you do so last so that your final memory of that plate of grease was a marginally healthy one. Also, whichever animal decided this poor man deserved to have his toast with extra carcinogen sprinkles. Also, where's the black pudding, and the beans, and the sausage? And what maniac has a Coke with a full English? This is an outrage. What an absolute bunch of Whoa. I am not reading that. Okay, maybe it was a mistake to let my English friend send this entire scene.
Help me, Talos, because I am useless without you.
Full disclosure, everyone, I may have focused too much on the breakfast sins because I have no idea why Fury is no longer mad at Talos. What was that? You actually did pay attention and you're wondering the same thing? Sweet. Back to the breakfast sins then. Using far too much imaginary currency to pay for your disappointing breakfast.
I mean, just name me one other interspecies relationship where it's acceptable to clean up the other guy's poop.
Peace lily and a betta fish. Plant feeds off the fish waste and cleans the water. Fish eats the plant roots. Any other questions, Talos?
I mean, every time you were promoted inside S.H.I.E.L.D., we did that. Every terror attack you prevented, we did that.
Talos does that for all of the sometime. I mean, did that for all of the sometime. I mean, this, does this, that, we did that thing, he does it. Look, this scene goes on for a bit, okay?
You got any more abuse you want to hurl my way?
Mistaking the truth for abuse.
So I just left you.
Why did Talos turn back into his human form? What's the point of being able to look like anyone you want if you just pick one identity for these secret missions? Fury kills the guard on sight, which is totally cool because he's a Skrull, and those refugees, am I right? But did Fury know that for certain? If not, then he just murdered a British officer who was literally just doing their job, and post-1777, that's rather frowned upon. Kids. Covert communication devices that have bright lights. Makes sense if you want to spoon feed the audience how you're speaking to your buddy. Makes less sense if you're practicing top-tier spycraft.
Nobody calls me Nick, Bob.
Technically, everyone calls you Nick. Every person who's ever referred to you by your full name has called you Nick. They just use your surname immediately after it. Also, I haven't rechecked the whole MCU, but I guarantee that he's been called just Nick. I'm even willing to bet it'll happen this series.
This is not a negotiation, Bob.
It is. Because you're going to counter his offer by releasing his kid after Bob releases Talos. It's not a negotiation just because one side has more to negotiate with.
What you working on over there, Bob?
The implication here is that a military commander can track the position of a submarine carrying nuclear missiles from a home computer, and I'm just going to go ahead and call bull scroll on this whole thing. I hope.
I could protect you. You couldn't protect yourself coming through that door.
Bob would be excellent at TVSins.
Why don't you shapeshift back into this piece of trash and call in an abort on that missile strike?
Maybe because he's the only one who knows the code word.
Making Fury as dumb as the audience so that we'll understand the plan, but accidentally making him dumber than the audience, who clearly figured out it wouldn't be as easy as this through context clues. Also, if Fury really thought stopping the missile was as simple as Talos making a phone call, why was he bothering to interrogate Bob in the first place?
I want to talk to CENTCOM. These are CENTCOM's orders. Either you'll obey, or you'll be removed.
Okay, so the launch of this missile will require both of these guys to scan their key cards and flick some switches. So why didn't Gravik replace this clearly hesitant officer as well as this first guy? Having said that, did he need to replace either of them? If the orders are coming from Commodore Bob, then wouldn't they be followed regardless?
Enough of this
Bullshots. Also, continually preventing Samuel L. Jackson from cursing. I've just about had it with this monkey fighting censorship on this Monday through Friday show.
I'm giving you 3 seconds to give me that code, or I'm gonna aim higher, or maybe lower.
Does that threat really carry as much weight on a Skrull? We've seen them change their shape and even mass, so couldn't they just temporarily relocate their dangly bits?
You can't even keep your daughter's loyalty.
Talos is all about pacifism until somebody mentions his daughter, and then he goes all Marty McFly, don't call me chicken, or Batman, why did you say that name? Or Will Smith at the Oscars. I'm not really sure why, considering his alternate course of action after killing this guy ironically puts his daughter at extreme risk. Hang on, that shot wouldn't instantly kill a human. Is that where a Skrull's vital point is? And that raises another question. When a Skrull shapeshifts into a human externally, do all their vital organs stay in the same place on the inside? Damn it, Marvel, you're creating more questions than answers again. This guard is one of the worst guards to ever guard, and instead of coming up with a clever way to beat this man while he's down, we'll just let his work speak for itself. Having this many memories about soccer, that's just sad, England. Bob. I mean, that's just sad, Bob.
Abort. Exercise. Code word? Zachary.
Fortunately for Planet Earth, the Commodore's password was essentially password.
All right, so make me understand. I'm not with Gravik because I'm with you.
Roses are red, violets are blue. May I offer you a meaningless platitude or two? I hear the first thing they teach you at motorcycle school is to immediately hit the deck at the first sign of any oncoming headlights. It's really the safest thing to do.
Are you a leader of Skrulls? Or a worst enemy?
Rough way to go, but still beats her Game of Thrones arc. What? If you think she's dead, why bother driving around the body? What possible reason could you have for swerving like this? Ooh, safety deposit box, mysterious gun, ominous phone call. What could it all mean? Spy shit is happening.
English food. I actually ate a kidney.
I sent 3 operatives to infiltrate the Royal Navy.
Not the Navy!
There's a rule that, commander station and operatives cannot be.
Why do we feel it's necessary to yak about bullshit in order to be comfortable?
I don't know.
If you get back to Earth and you see a man, say in his late 50s, taking a hard, long look across a crowded room.
Your father called for a parley.
That's the one. Parlay. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I live in this world. You live in a psycho bunker where 9/11 was an inside job and the government are all Nazis.
The government are all Nazis!
I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body.
What'd you stop for? My name is Zeus. Zeus? Yeah, Zeus, as in father of Apollo of Mount Olympus. Don't with me or I'll shove a lightning bolt up your ass. Zeus!
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
I think we should call it your grave. Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. Oh, no, God! Oh.
What's in the box?